For me, I only got one guy, and that is, we talked about him earlier. He's on Harrison's list at number 9, and that's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. He's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks in this draft class. Don't know how I ended up at that point, but it just happened that way. This guy, again, like a Malik Cunningham, 5 years at Louisville, 5 years at UCLA for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Played in a pro-style offense, spread offense under head coach Chip Kelly. We want a guy. If you want a guy that's a competitor, a dual threat, that he's not really a dual threat in that he runs first, pass second. Like, he's going to stand there and deliver the pocket and make a throw, but he's also going to run when he needs to be. This is the guy that you want. I really like the way that he plays. His last year, he was excellent. 69.6 completion percentage, 3,169 yards, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Also had 645 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns on the ground. Now, some of those came in the quarterback sneak variety, like the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts. But then he had some ridiculous touchdown runs. If you haven't seen the touchdown run that he had against Bowling Green, yo, check out the Bowling Green one. He literally rolls out and then somehow takes it up the sideline and then cuts across the middle of the field and takes it for 70-something yards. It's ridiculous. So if you want to check that out, definitely check that out with him. He also had the luxury of playing with some other guys that are pro prospects. Talking about the running back Zach Charbonnet, the wide receiver Jake Bobo, who was also drafted in the USFL draft, and Michael Ezeki, another guy I think who was at the NFLPA Bowl. I think he was at the NFLPA Bowl.
I believe so. Their guard Mofi is really good too.
Yeah, so a lot of pro guys that he played with, and definitely he showed out. And some of the things I like about him, just watching his game. Had a chance to watch the Utah game, the Bowling Green game, obviously, in the USC game. His footwork, I think he has very good footwork for his size. Right, he's 6'1", so he's a little bit on the shorter side, but I don't think that matters. I think he had very good footwork. Not a lot of happy feet in the pocket. He's very poised in the pocket. Arm strength, I think, is there. He can hit the throws down the field. It's almost like Jalen Hurts when I watched Dorian Thompson-Robinson, in that he's going to make the deep throws, but he's not consistently, because you don't need him to, because he'll be able to hit those short to intermediate routes, which, again, Jalen Hurts and other quarterbacks have shown you can win that way if you're effective and efficient. You add the dual threat aspect with it. I think he has very good pocket awareness. When he feels pressure, he will step up in the pocket, which I definitely like. He can make the throws behind the line of scrimmage, +1 in the run game. Shout out to Emory Hunt with that one. He's a poor man's Kyler Murray. I see a lot of poor man's Kyler Murray, especially when he takes off and runs. I see a little bit of a Kyler there with him. Without the speed, but I think he has deceptive speed. He's comfortable making throws, throws on the move. He throws a good ball, like I said. He goes through his progressions, I think, very well. And he has a lot of zip on his passes. He can make middle field throws, but it could be an issue because he's inconsistent there. But I do love that he's a competitor. That's one thing I did watch when I watched DTR. Dude competes. He really competes. And he was at the Shrine game, and he's going to be at the Combine. This guy might become the way I feel about Tyler Huntley is going to be the way I feel about DTR. I'm going to be rooting for him because I really think he can play at the NFL level. And I think I told Emory that, and I told you that, right? I told Emory that. I said, this guy could have a Tyler Huntley, Tyrod Taylor type of career where they're back up for a minute, but he will get a chance to start because I think he can start. And, him having a head coach in Chip Kelly who did have some NFL stuff, experience, I think that helps him. And I even have, some places where I think I would like to see him go, honestly. We talked about this one team, Seattle. I'd love to see him Seattle.
Yep.
The Eagles, just my bias. I like seeing the Eagles. Right. The Commanders with Eric Bieniemy. I think just with the concepts that they ran at UCLA, I could see him running the same similar concepts with the Commanders. The Broncos with Russell Wilson getting older. And then the Browns. Jacoby Brissett. You have a backup behind Deshaun Watson. And that offense, you don't really need to do a lot because they lean so much on the running game. So I really like DTR. I think he's going to be another fascinating player to watch just to see where he goes at, because I think he can play. Like I said, he's a competitor. He reminds me a lot of PJ Walker too when I watch him. So
I like that comp.
I'm enamored with him. I think he's really going to be a good pro for some reason. I just feel it, just the way. And I didn't think that until I watched him in the NFL, and I mean in the Shrine game, where I was like, yeah, this dude actually might be that dude that no one's talking about, but will like shoot up the draft boards.
He did. He had a really good week at the Shrine game and just in practice as well. And that's not even necessarily his forte, because when he's in a full game live situation, he can really display his full set of athleticism. The way he moves the pocket, I love that you mentioned that. He's one of my favorite guys' pocket movements. So comfortable in the pocket, likes to step up and throw from the pocket, hit routes on the outside. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned his efficiency. His 69% completion percentage was a UCLA school record. He leaves there with almost all of their all-time total offense record, like we mentioned, 5-year starter there.
And there's some good quarterbacks that kind of thrown through you. So Josh Rosen, a guy named Troy Aikman. So I mean,
yes, DTR has all of those offensive records. And then this year, he was only one of 2 quarterbacks in the FBS to finish with 25 passing touchdowns and 11 rushing touchdowns with Bo Nix from Oregon. Big fan of DTR as well. I think he's got a lot of upside for the next level, kind of getting slept on. Another guy similar to maybe Bryce Young in terms of the size situation, where people are like, well, he's too small. He's not going to be able to play in the NFL. I think that's definitely overlooked. Same thing with Lindsey Scott, who I have at 11 from UIW. Not really concerned with their size, really more so looking at the way they throw the football, the way they can move, extend plays, and make plays in the open field. Definitely playmakers in the NFL.
And the way that the NFL game and offenses have changed now to the more spread college style, offenses, it benefits a guy like DTR or like a Malik Cunningham or Anthony Richardson or Lindsey Scott. Like, you need more. And I think we're starting to see that even in NFL now. You need more guys that can move the pocket, not be so stiff. Like, they got to have some mobility to be successful.